It's Ramsey Dewey over here in Shanghai, China. Welcome to another edition of Q&A with the Coach. We have a question today from Nuclear Nick, who says, I have some trouble dealing with bigger, stronger opponents in boxing like everybody else. I had my first boxing match a week ago. I lost by split decision. And although I was technically better than my opponent, he was significantly stronger and had a reach advantage. In the first round, I already noticed that I was not able to block his punches because of his brute strength, so I was left with parrying, shoulder rolls, head movement, and footwork as my only defense options. Well, good, because those should be your primary defense options, as opposed to taking it on your guard. And I could not stand my ground and go toe-to-toe with him. On top of that, he was not affected by my punches, even if I landed several hard overhand crosses, check hooks, 1-2s, and body shots. I got away unscathed due to my superior technique and defense. But I lost the fight because I could not engage in exchanges the way I wanted to. So what can I do to go toe-to-toe with a sluggernaut that can march forward while taking everything I can dish out on his chin? There is no magic technique or strength training program or diet that will make me able to beat guys like him. But every serious martial artist will ask himself that question at some point in his career. And all good fighters found an answer to that question. Is he just an opponent I will never be able to beat? Because he will train and progress too. Is there a certain mindset that I can adopt to at least improve as fast as I can? How can the turtle win the race against the rabbit in a metaphorical sense? You had a first fight, and you lost, and this is one of the most transformative experiences a fighter can have. Not just the first fight, but the first fight loss. That tells you and it tells me a lot about what kind of fighter you are. A huge percentage of first fight losses result in a one-and-done type of fighter, but clearly that's not you because you're asking the right questions. How do I fix it? Which tells me that you will, in time, if you're patient enough. I need you to be really, really honest with yourself. You said you had better technique. Get really, really real about that. You landed punches. Okay. Now, I assume this was a fight in the same weight class. And so we have a guy who is stronger than you. He's got a longer reach. He's got physical advantages over you. You want to camp out in front of him and exchange, but you cannot. You learn this is not a good game plan. Good, because it's not. Never was, never will be. Camping out in front of the other guy, exchanging, going toe-to-toe with somebody. Face to face. As exciting as it may be to the fans, is not a wise strategy. Here's why. It's a fair fight when all things are even. But as you mentioned, they were not even. He outreached you. He was stronger than you. You couldn't phase him even by clipping him on the chin. Which is unfortunate for him because new fighters, first-time fighters often block punches with their chins and they pat themselves on the back. Oh, I got an iron chin. Look at me. You won't for long if you keep up that nonsense. It would be a fair fight standing in front of the other guy if all things are even, but you don't want a fair fight. You want an advantage. You want every advantage. Which is why that footwork that you mentioned should be your primary option, not a last resort when you can't beat him with strength and reach. Why? You're standing in front of the other guy, he hits you, you hit him. Okay? What if he's trying to play this game and you move over here? Boom! Which one's better? How about option 2? Cut your angles. The most important footwork in boxing is the footwork that changes your angle relative to the other guy so you can flank him from the side. This should be your constant goal when fighting anyone, regardless of size or physical attributes. Flank them from the side. That's the position where you can hit them and they can't hit you. A lot of first-time fighters are overwhelmed by how ineffective their punches seem to be against their opponents, and how effective their opponent's punches seem to be against them. Your opponent might be telling himself a similar story, like, man, I hit that guy with everything I had and it didn't do anything. Because as you mentioned, you came out unscathed. Because you're moving around, so you're not absorbing much of the damage, right? And he might be thinking, he might not understand what was happening there, and he might think, this guy's got an iron chin. My punches felt like pillows, I couldn't knock him out. That's entirely possible. But yeah, man, people are shocked by how wimpy they really are when they fight for the first time, and they realize every shot is not a knockout. And it takes a special kind of preparation, a different kind of preparation than what you thought. It's a different game than what you previously believed. And nobody knows that until they get in the ring and they try it out for real for the first time. And the fact that you want to do it again speaks volumes about you, sir. Be patient. Be patient with the process. Here's something else super important. You ask me, how do I beat a guy like that? There's no other guy on earth like that. There are guys with similar attributes, maybe similar styles. But every fighter is a unique puzzle. My children are shouting in the back. What is going on? So, where was I? Every fighter is a unique puzzle. Super common question I think every online martial arts coach gets is, how do I beat the bigger, stronger guy? And a lot of guys give some tips, some fight tips about how to beat the bigger, stronger guy. Because in their experience, that's what worked against the bigger, stronger guy, singular, that they train with. And those tips will not necessarily work for you because you're fighting a different, bigger, stronger guy. And when you figure that guy out, good, a lot of that stuff will carry over to other people. But everyone is their own unique puzzle. So, training tips, train with a wide variety of people. And train with a wide variety of people who can kick your butt. And every time, start asking yourself those same questions. How do I beat this guy? How do I figure this out? I had a fight with a much, much bigger, stronger guy. My very first pro Muay Thai fight, and I got knocked out in like a minute. And it seemed like an impossible situation, and I watched the tape over and over again, trying to figure out, how could I have beaten that guy? What could I have done in that situation? And it seemed hopeless. Like, there's nothing I could have done against that guy. He was a bulldozer. He was invincible. Nothing I hit him with did anything, and everything he hit me with knocked me down. And this is a puzzle I mulled over for years, for decades afterward, until I figured it out. And the answer was very, very, very simple. Keep getting out there and training. And never, ever stop asking the right questions. Thank you for watching. Now get out there and train.